Okay, so I'm going to shoot a tutorial for stop and go the DAT triangle, D-A-T. It's a Charles Aycock trick. It's a cabin tutorial. They are notoriously not helpful, as cool as the tricks are. I need a little more instruction than what they provide. So I've been working on this trick for a while. See if I can hit it. And it looks like it would be easy, but it's not. Like a lot of Charles's tricks, they require some finesse that isn't obviously apparent to the casual observer. So I've been working on this for a year off and on, longer than I'd like to admit. The first thing that's really important is the setup. You gotta, if you watch the tutorial, you can see, but you curl your fingers around like that to make a little nest to sort of land it in. This is important because this is how you're going to end up with a green triangle at the end. If at the end of the trick you don't get a green triangle, you probably didn't get this twisted just right, and it has to be twisted just right. The other problem that I run into more, because this is pretty easily fixed, you can sit there with a dead yo-yo and practice this. Problem I ran into more was not getting the bind. So there's two things I figured out to sort of try and help that. One is in the setup. I actually do this, and then I grab the string with my pinky so that it'll create some drag on this part of the string to help form the bind. If you notice, when it lands here, you want the string going to the yo-yo to be loose and the other string to be tight so that it'll wrap it around the yo-yo while you're doing the trick. You can probably see it. Let's try it this way. So if I hold it with my pinky, you can watch. See, this is loose, which allows it to circle around, right? And that's what causes the bind to happen. You can also do it wherein if you catch it a little closer to your thumb, that seems to help. So when you do this, when the yo-yo's coming at you, if you try and land closer to this side of the string, but that's not really an easy thing to control all the time. So you know. So anyway, pinky controls tension on this part of the string. The top part can be loose. Then it's catching. And you can pull it out this way, but the spinner will be reversed, which may or may not be helpful. I would recommend you start out flipping it over and doing it like this. Of course, you should probably do it harder and faster and better than that. It's kind of hard to talk and do this at the same time. So maybe that's why they don't do it on the cabin tutorials. You want to talk and throw. So let's see, what other issues? Other issue is triangle not forming at the end. I talked about that a little bit, but what will happen is if you land... Oops, my yo-yo is slightly responsive. That's not fun. Yeah, that's way more responsive than I would have liked. Okay, if you land at the end and there's no triangle, so basically if you're like this, you're like, ha ha ha, and there's no triangle, you probably set something up wrong, or when you landed into the pocket, some string flipped around in a weird way, and so you're not in a triangle. This is the most common problem I have, which is the bind just not forming. So, let me think. Yeah, that's what I would focus on. You got to have it set up correctly first. That's very important. I use my pinky just so there's a little more drag to help the bind. Well, that was awful. Should probably clean this bearing, I guess. And then if your yo-yo's not forming, then there's an issue with if your triangle's not forming, then there's some sort of issue with either your setup in the beginning, or I've found the whole thing works better if this string goes behind your throw hand. If it comes to the inside, sometimes when that happens, the trick doesn't seem to work right either. I have more problems with the bind, and I have more problems with not forming a triangle. I haven't quite figured out how that relates to everything at the moment yet, but every little bit makes a difference, it seems, with this trick. That was just too slow. The other thing I will warn you about is you're going to get a lot of freaking tangles when you're learning it, because it doesn't land. Unless you hit it right, it's not gonna come out good. It won't be pretty in the end. Okay, I suppose if there are other questions, I could try and answer those. But those are the two problems I tend to run into when doing this trick. The other problem is the dismount. See, it's well,